Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
October is National Breast Cancer and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's October 23rd, 2021. I am Vietnam veteran host Cliff Kelley. And, of course,
I am his co-host, Colonel
yes,
Dr. Damon Arnold. Good,
Mm-hmm.
Cliff. And actually, our executive producer is Glenda Smith. She is working so hard always.
Right.
And our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega. He's from Scouts Honor Productions, doing a wonderful job as usual. And we actually have some panelists with us. William H. Hooks is the U.S. Marine Corps veteran and Cook County Judicial Circuit Court judge, and is always honored to have him on, as well as Lori Roper, who is the Cook County Supervisor, Attorney, Problem-Solving Courts, and Brian Scanlon, the Cook County Assistant Attorney, Public Defender Office. I feel so safe that all these three people here now. There's no legal problem I ever have to face again, the three of them in the room. And today we're going to have a discussion on a reflection of 2021, the Veterans Treatment Court, and looking forward to 2022 Veterans Treatment Court agenda. And I am so pleased to have all of you on. Judge Hooks, do you want to open up with a comment?
Colonel, thank you so much. Greetings to everyone. My former Alderman, Cliff Kelley.
Thank you.
Lori, Ms. Smith.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, everyone. This is a family situation here. We had a good year. Our veterans weathered the storm of the pandemic. They also weathered the storm of the challenges of even getting back and forth to court. We're going to do a lot better in 2022. I cannot announce the really good plans because that's going to take place at the University of Chicago on the 11th day of November. But let me just say this, it's going to be a good day for our veterans in Chicago, both those that are in the Veterans Treatment Court, as well as veterans that are not in the criminal justice system. The initiatives at the University of Chicago are loaning the veterans, as well as they're in the processes that I'm involved in, as well as those that are not, are going to be absolutely fantastic. We graduated a class of veterans this year. We are preparing to graduate another class early into 2022. We will have more resources starting in January. The announcement of it will take place in November. But with all that, Brian Scanlon has some other felony duties in the criminal division, but he remains a trusted advisor to me and my Veterans Treatment Court. Lori also is always available for me and our veterans. So I want to state my sincere appreciation for both of them and their dedication to our veterans. And of course, this show is a godsend for our veterans and also our community.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Judge Hooks. And Lori and Brian have been on, and they are doing, it's an honor to have them on, because I can't imagine all the situations they've gotten our veterans out of that they, fell into because of the things that they've gone through, because of their service, or, because of the financial situations you come back to and other things that happen. And I'm just so appreciative that they both are part of our veteran community and are helping us to get through this. So I'll turn it over to Lori. You can go next. I'm just going on the order on the list here, but all of you, I could start with each one of you, and I know you could probably do an 84-hour show for each one of you. But Lori, why don't you give us a little bit more?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello, Governor of Talk Radio. It's good to see you in person, as much as Zoom can be in person.
Thank you.
But really, the star of this show really is the Honorable Judge Hooks. He has been leading the charge and taking care of our veterans who find themselves in the criminal justice system, particularly at 26 in California, which, the name 26 in California just can send shivers down folks' spine. But luckily, these veterans are able to appear before Judge Hooks and get the services that they need. The one thing that I do want to ask Judge Hooks about is the fact that how did you keep the court going during this pandemic? You know, what did you do to make sure that the veterans came to court, or did they do everything on Zoom? Tell us a little more about that.
Well, there was a period of time where we had to Zoom. The challenge for the veterans during the Zoom processes was a large one because our veterans didn't have quote have smartphones. They did not have laptops. The Veterans Administration stepped up to the plate and were creative in giving us access, giving some of our veterans access at the VA and other places. The personal attention of the staff that's assigned to the Veterans Court was amazing. The public defenders for Cook County found ways to get the veterans into the building. We have a room on the first floor for those veterans and other people that have cases in our building that do not have the type of equipment they need to go on these Zooms, which, you know, we had during the pandemic. Now, in my case, I was at court every day. So I did not do, some of our judges Zoom from the home. My clerk and I, we opted to be in the building every day. And whenever we could preside on Zoom because we were sharing Zoom spaces early on, we did that. But then the presiding judge and chief judge opened up all the rooms. And as soon as they opened up all the rooms, it was safe for our veterans to come in. We reassumed the call in the actual room in the building, room 506. So, you know, I have a wonderful regular staff, but the veteran staff is just amazing. And it's like people like Brian that have other assignments, and Lori Roper, who has she has a broader assignments. They still come back. They still keep contact with me, and they still give me guidance that assists me in our mission. And the veterans troop through. I mean, I guess that's one thing. The veterans, no matter what their situation, I just had a veteran. It was a sad situation. He actually, without me knowing it, walked like 8 miles, and he was a person of some age. And when I heard about it, this was about a couple of months ago, walked 8 miles to come to court. And subsequently, we've got the bus cars for the probation department, but like I said, coming into the next couple of months, we're going to have resources, so we'll never have a veteran feeling that he or she will have to walk to the courthouse. When that veteran walked to the courthouse, there were resources put together to get him back home. But I don't want to. If I'd known about that ahead of time, we would have done something else. But it was a challenge. The health of the veterans was more important than some of the other objectives we had, and our veterans trooped on through. But it was with the support of staff that we were able to make it.
Good.
Yeah, I'm not a producer, but I see a movie coming out of all the stuff you all are doing. I was thinking about all the things that they have out there, and
that would be something, right?
they would show something strong, you know, something important. And Brian, so what is your story about? What's going on? Because I know you are so intricately involved in this. As Judge Hooks was saying, that you know you have not just one thing on your plate, but you have a smorgasbord of things that you're doing. And how does this fit into your role, and how do you see what you're doing? What does it mean to you?
Well, as I like to say, I've learned from Lori and I've learned from Judge Hooks about non-traditional lawyering. I have my regular traditional lawyering where we get up, we fight the cases, we might do trials. But I like to think, without knowing it, and giving the governor of talk radio a little shout out, when Judge Hooks was in need, who did he turn to? He turned to Alderman Cliff Kelley. And I think I'd like to ask the judge, probe his mind a little bit. Your non-traditional sense of lawyering for veterans court versus regular court, when you can honestly look the veteran in the eye and say, in a good way, I've experienced what you've experienced, and I've experienced what maybe my mentor Cliff Kelley experienced in the service, and we're going to deliver you to your original mission in one form or another. Judge Hooks, how do you feel that maybe your experiences with the governor of talk radio and maybe me, maybe Lori, how's that influenced you in a non-traditional lawyering sense?
Well, you know, and I'm going to include Colonel Damon Arnold in this equation. Those of us that have lived this life and connect with people outside the courtroom, we can sense a fake person like immediately. And all the people that I've been blessed with assisting me in the Veterans Court, and of course Cliff from my childhood, and Dr. Damon Arnold, I call him Colonel because he is a colonel. We have official roles, but we also have life experiences that allow us to take whatever our profession is, and in Damon Arnold's case, medicine, and Cliff Kelley, every type of media you can imagine. And in our areas, simply law. You have those as your medium of helping people. And so, if your goal is helping people, you take whatever God gave you as your profession and you turn that to help people. I mean, too many people try to take whatever they have and they use it just for themselves, or they use it as a hammer instead of a rope to throw the people, to pull them up. So, at the end of the day, you've got to be able to figure, you want to be able to say, I've done something that perhaps if I was not there, it may not have happened. And I did not follow the path or the pattern that those that came in front of me followed, because sometimes those patterns are not designed for our success. And sometimes success is only accidental if you follow those patterns. You've got to think of ways to challenge folks without demeaning them. You have to find a way of calling people to task without putting the burden on their back too much. I mean, it's just like being in the military. The troops will go as far as you want them to go, but you've got to be able to sense when you're asking them too much to do, and have some compassion for their situation. Challenge the people, but don't break them.
Great point. Great point. Lori Roper, give us your feeling about how this works and let people know, because a lot of folks aren't aware of the great job that goes on at the Veterans Court.
Well, I will say this: it first has to start at the head, and the head is the judge in the courtroom. And the reason why Judge Hooks and other judges in Cook County who do these courts, who do Veterans Court and the other courts that we have, the reason why they're so successful is that they lead by example, and they also let the participant know that, yes, this is not going to be an easy ride. This is not going to be an easy situation, but I will be there with you every step of the way. I will be there with you when you stumble, because sometimes people do stumble when they're trying to better themselves. Things may not happen the way that you want. And Judge Hooks, along with all the other judges, they let the participants know that they are there for them for the good and the bad. Because, particularly with veterans who may have substance abuse issues, relapse is a part of recovery. You do have people who do relapse and in their journey of becoming sober and clean. And Judge Hooks does not just turn his back on them. He is there trying to assess, trying to figure out, how can I get this person to realize that they are the same person that they were. They just took a small detour, but I'm going to get them right back on their path, and he does it. And as he mentioned earlier, he did have a class that graduated. And I just want us all to think about that for a minute. We had men and women who went through this program during one of the worst times ever in my lifetime, in most of our lifetimes, a pandemic, something that most of us may have just heard of in a textbook setting, not necessarily a colonel who is a doctor who knows about stuff, but somebody like this is just like a textbook word. No one even dreamed that they would ever be in something like that. And put yourself in a situation of being in a pandemic and also having either a substance abuse issue, perhaps you were dealing with some kind of homeless issue, you were dealing with another issue, and you still had to be a part of this court. Or mental health issue. I think that we really need to applaud Judge Hooks and the rest of the veterans for making it through the pandemic, because I know it was not easy. It wasn't easy for us, people who may not have had all those issues. It was a very frightening time, and it still is a very frightening time. And I just want to say to Judge Hooks, thank you for leading our veterans and giving them an opportunity to deal with their issues in probably one of the hardest time outside of their military service, particularly if they if they were in a war setting, probably one of the hardest times that they've ever had to deal with. And for them to make it on the other side is phenomenal. And I just think we just really need to think about that.
Well stated.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could find anybody better than Bill Hooks.
Oh yeah, to do that. Well, the three of them, I think all of them are fighting
all
for
great.
the right cause.
Yeah,
and Judge Hooks, of course, is an icon already. And I always kid with him before. I said, when you run for mayor, governor, president, I'll be voting for you. So he needs to get out there and do something. I know what he's doing. He loves what he's doing, and he's doing a phenomenal job. But one of the things when you were talking, Lori, it just, I don't know why this dawned on me, but it was like, when we go to church, we all are sinners, right? According to any religious belief that you have. Even if you're an atheist, you're a sinner. But we always go to, to those institutions to get forgiveness. But you are actually doing that on the judicial side. So you're really the church of justice, really taking a look at, what is it that we need to do to help save these American citizens, and especially the ones who put the uniform on and try to save, holding up the ideals of this country and protecting our democracy. So, going into 2020, I'll start with you, Lori, and then you can go down go across the list is with Brian and then Judge Hooks. But what is your vision for 2022? What would you like to see? I'm a taxpayer. I would like to put most of my money and my taxes towards this. Maybe that's a call out to the congressional members and the senators and the people who are out there. This is a worthwhile program to me, rather than squandering money on some other things that we sometimes see. So what would be your vision for 2022? What would you like to see?
I would like to see our veterans being, of course, successful, completing the program, but actually really just being able to reinsert themselves into their lives. And really, I would like to see perhaps the VA or some other program really help veterans not just thrive, but just basically have a life again. Because sometimes we have programs that can just get you on your feet, but we need programs to get you moving. We have veterans, and they may not ever come into our system. I want to be able to reach all the veterans who may need just that extra push, just that extra help, and I want to do that. And I think that honoring the memory of Colin Powell, I think we should really, really focus as much as we can on our veterans and get them to that point.
Oh, thank you.
Well stated.
And we have a special tribute to Colin Powell at 5:30 today. But we're going to have General Honore and Danny Davis and Congressman Davis and Chris Kennedy on as well to talk about that.
You're going to have General Honore.
Yes.
Oh.
One of our good friends. So he's
my favorite.
Well, you folks are doing such a great job.
Yeah. So Brian, what's your view? What's your vision?
Right.
My vision is, I'll just expand from what Lori has told me. One is I have an impossible dream, and I've conveyed that to both Lori and Public Defender Sharon Mitchell and the person in charge of specialty courts, Emmanuel Andre, is that we expand Veterans Treatment Court to the point where we allow Judge Hooks, who has great responsibility and great honor, to be able to expunge people's records. Let's not just expunge the one thing that's in front of Judge Hooks. Let's honestly look at it as like a transition when there's 4 phases to Veterans Treatment Court. The first phase, We expunge little things, arrests, just incidents. Phase 2, maybe misdemeanor convictions. So that by the point, as Lori's great emphasis has said, when we return you to your original mission and we put you back into society apart from us, you're 100% clean in your record and you can go apply for that job, something you may not have been able to do for 20 years with a clean record. I mean, I guess with that great responsibility, I know a great judge like Judge Hooks would be able to handle that in deciding at what point do we turn on the cold water, the hot water, speed you up, slow you down. It's my impossible dream. I would like Danny Davis maybe or others to go to the legislature and give judges like Judge Hooks and people who can communicate this like yourself and the governor of talk radio, the ability to put this out there to society and say, we're here for you. And throw that on Judge Hook's lap, my impossible dream.
Wow. You know, Brian, I had to say one thing. That sounds so logical and so smart. It's like, why aren't we doing it?
Exactly.
You know? And,
Exactly.
you know, and it seems like, you know, once someone goes through something, it's like, so we're going to get you to the point where you get back into society and you're functional and you're doing everything, but we're still going to put a little bit of a gray zone on you, right? And that doesn't make sense at all. You know, so I really applaud you for that vision. And Judge Hooks, what is your wish list for 2022? And this you know, I'm not going to put it under your Christmas tree, but
I understand it. Brian's suggestion is a wonderful one. We're going to be more active with our program again with the University of Chicago once we get all the paperwork. Well, the paperwork is done. We've got to get the details worked out. But we're going to have the resources of the University of Chicago to help us with the expungement process. Right now, our good public defenders are prohibited from participating in the expungement process. We have to use other resources. But the suggestion that it becomes part of the protocol for the public defenders to assist in, I think it would be good for the public defenders, but more importantly, it would be good for the veterans and people that are in some of these other specialty courts too. So I think that's a great challenge. Another challenge, and I mentioned this a few months ago with my staff for the VA court, is that I want to make sure that in addition to assessing our veterans with respect to drug, alcohol, and mental health, I want to make sure and strongly suggest that every veteran in the program have a physical examination. Now, what I've been told is that if they ask for one, they can get one. But I did not know that was the case. But now I'm going to try to stress to them that they've got to get that physical examination, and the VA, if they don't provide it, which I'm told that they will, but if it's a great delay, I'm going to use other hospital resources to assist because, you know, it's great to try to solve somebody's drug or alcohol problem, and if they've got a mental health issue, but they also, you know, they come from a population group in large where they have other medical issues that have to be attended to. And in order for them to successfully negotiate through this life, we need to know they need to know what their problems are, and they need to be able to have resources to give them a more total survival possibility. So we're looking at that. Also, we're looking at programs with the junior colleges for those veterans that still need some type of assistance with respect to trade and training, if they're young enough to do that. Many of our veterans are really early Vietnam War veterans and pretty much senior citizens. So, you know, they are on some fixed income situations, some very much fixed income situations, fixed compensation programs. But I'm starting to get some veterans that are younger, and we're also working on trying to upgrade those discharges. That was already a part of our program. We're trying to get upgrades to discharges and change the status of those veterans from when they left active duty so they can go forward. You know, there's a thing called OTHC, other non-medical condition discharge. Those were discharges that the military just handed out without a lot of thought, and based upon positive urine tests for marijuana, for example, or minor matters. And those types of discharges have disrupted possibilities and have disrupted dreams. And we've always tried to get some of those discharges upgraded, but we're going to have to be more active with that. I want people that come in with these discharges that don't have VA benefits to leave with upgraded discharges. So that's part of the dream list for 2022.
Great, great.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Because one of the things is, I'm looking at what's going on with the, resettlement of people who are from Afghanistan, and that's important. They were allies, and that they were doing things, to support that. But we need to take care of our veterans here at home. We put millions of dollars towards every other group, but look at the veterans who actually served. So we're running out of time. So I just want to thank all three of you, Judge Hooks, Lori Roper, Brian Scanlon. You are all 3 stars in our book, and we are just so pleased. Every time you're on the show, you're our partners. You service our veterans, and our veterans are doing better and they have miracles in their lives. It's not just affecting them, but their entire family. And so I really thank you for your service to our nation and to the judicial system.
Absolutely.
Well,
Okay.
this program is a big deal, Colonel. This program that you all have, and Cliff, you and Cliff, this is a real big deal that you all have, and we thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge
you
Hooks.
so much.
Okay, we're going on to a commercial break.
Judge
I want
Hooks.
you to stay with us, and we have that special honor for Colin Powell coming up. Staying with us.